diamonds in the rough. NFL Draft Diamonds. Time to shine.
Hi, I'm Jimmy Williams with NFL Draft Diamonds, and today I have with me Chandon Herring, who's an offensive lineman out of BYU. How's your day, sir?
Dude, it's fantastic. Good to be with you.
Nice, nice. Glad to have you on. Do want to just kind of understand your journey a little bit. Had obviously a magical season there at BYU this past season. We'll get to that as soon as we can, but share just a little bit about your journey. Give us just a brief summary, if you don't mind.
Yeah, for sure. So I grew up in a small little town, northeastern Arizona, and was up there through my sophomore year. And there it was great because I had the opportunity to participate all sorts of different sports, baseball, wrestling, track, and football. Then we ended up moving to Gilbert, where I finished my high school career. And through that high school process, I had the opportunity to come to various camps at BYU, get introduced to the coaching staff here. It was Bronco Mendenhall and Coach Weber at the time. And they offered me my junior year, and I knew that's where I wanted to go. BYU is an incredible university. It's very challenging academically and very competitive in athletics. And so I accepted that offer right when it came because I had already made up my mind that's what I wanted to happen. Right after high school, I took 2 years and I served a mission for the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. I was in Washington, D.C., and that was an amazing experience. Spent 2 years helping people come closer to Christ and doing different service opportunities. It was some of the best time of my life. Once that ended, I started my time at BYU in 2016. And right from the get-go, I started with great examples all around me. I played with Taysom Hill, Jamal Williams, Fred Warner, and all sorts of these guys that are currently playing in the league right now. And so from the get-go, I was around competitive, athletic, and freaky people. And that set the stage for what ended up happening this year with us having the success that we did and just experiencing the special season that we had.
So, Chandon, tell me a little bit about you as an offensive lineman. I mean, you've played a little across that offensive line, right? Share with us a little bit about that.
Yeah, it's actually one of my favorite memories of playing at BYU so far has been just the opportunity to play at different places on the line. Usually O-linemen find a spot and they stick there through the whole time. But my coach knew that I had the mind and the skill set needed to play in various spots depending on team need. And so, for example, like in 2020, I did the first game at right tackle, and I really love tackle. It's a great place to play. But then because of injuries with other guys, I got bumped down to right guard, where I was there, I believe, for like 6 games. Then back out to right tackle for 2 or 3, then ended the season at left guard for 2. And so through my time here from 2016 to now, I've played every spot on the line in the game but center. And just playing next to different guys, seeing the game from different perspectives, really just, I think, is a huge benefit in helping me understand the game and being a better prospect going into the NFL.
Good. Obviously, I don't know. I personally see you transitioning more so as an offensive lineman that I would put on the right side. Is that a fair assessment? Like if I were to say that, because I mean isn't that where you played most of your time there at BYU?
Yeah, that would be fair. Most of my films at right guard and right tackle.
Okay. So right guard, right tackle, some decent size, somewhere between 6'6" and 6'7", depending on the person that gets out the measuring tape. So definitely a tall individual, about 310 pounds as well. One of the things that I read, which I think is so silly, is someone saying, well, he may not have the arm length to play at offensive tackle. And I'm like, man, his arm length is just a hair under 34 inches. Are you joking me? So 33 and whatever 3/4 or 5/8 or whoever in the world, you know what I mean? That's just bogus. But I definitely feel like you've got the size to play either guard or tackle at the next level for sure. So we talked a little bit about you and what you bring to the table, some versatility there across the offensive line. Do you feel like that's one of your better attributes that you're bringing to the table as a prospect?
Yeah, that's what I am selling myself as going to the NFL, is as I'm entering the draft as the most versatile and athletic lineman in this class. And so I'm trying to portray that regardless of what situation arises on the team, regardless of what needs you have, I'm able to fill that need. Because the NFL it's a production business, and it's not like, yeah, you can be super good at one spot, but if you're needed somewhere else, you have to perform. And so the more you know, the more valuable you are. And I have the film and experience to show that that's exactly what I do. That's who I am.
Yeah, I mean, the people that have scouted you, I mean, obviously, they highlight the fact that you, like you said, are really one of the more athletic guys out there on the offensive line. Uh, After this past season, I mean, you ended up going out to uh, Dallas and going to the CGS. Tell us about your journey there to the College Gridiron Showcase.
Yeah, the College Gridiron Showcase was an incredible opportunity to go out there. The guys that are putting it on do great work, and their intention is to just help guys be noticed and found. And especially in a COVID year where a lot of other events where people were able to have exposure to scouts, those were canceled. And so the fact they're able to do the work and do it safely to where we could all meet and then have interviews with scouts. Everybody I know that went there was meeting for hours on end with different scouts and teams where they're able to show their knowledge, show some skills with things, and just get introduced. And that was a huge advantage. I don't believe I'd be looked at as much as I am now without that exposure that I was able to have there. We performed some pro day style drills there that were videoed and sent out, that were conducted by scouts. And then there's lots of orientation and advice given for your first year in the league. It's a great event. If anybody ever is invited to go, I highly recommend it. Great people. The food was really good too. They take great care of you. So
Yeah, I mean, a lot of good guys out there that were able to put on a decent event. Again, under the circumstances of a pandemic, where you kind of have to make sure that everybody's under certain guidelines. So, yeah, definitely. And again, with the CGS, all the talk that I was hearing is that you were probably one of the more athletic guys out at that event, which I think was great because I mean you're able to set yourself apart. And I think even doing your pro day, you did that as well. Talk about maybe leading up to that pro day, maybe where you were training and just this pro day in general, because I mean, you did a fantastic job. So go ahead and just kind of lead us through all that, if you don't mind.
thank you. Pro day, my agent strongly suggested this place in Denver. It's called Landau Performance. And they've been doing pro day prep for like 20 years, I believe. It's owned by Lauren Landau, he's the head strength coach for the Broncos now. But we had a variety of trainers. We had Augie, we had Will, Wrigley, just all these great, very qualified and very detail-oriented people watching you. And I was there for about 3 months leading up to pro day. And I believe that the success I had on pro day is due to the program they had, their attention to detail, and the way that they ran the whole operation. Great people. I loved it there. I had an O-line mentor that we met with regularly to work on drill work, film study, all that. His name's Luke Bowenko. He played for about 6-7 years. And it was a great experience. And leading into pro day, I saw the results of it. I was able to run a sub 540. I was able to have a fantastic 5.10.5. I am disappointed with my vertical jump. I really wanted to get 30, but I hit 29. I did hit over 30, but it was a scratch, so I'm a little bit bitter about that. But all the other events, I'm pleased with how it turned out, and especially the drill work at the end. It was ran by the O-line coaches from the Bills, the Patriots, and the Cardinals were there. And it was great to see what they were looking at, what mattered to them, and to show them that we're able to adapt to the random variants of rules that they presented and wanted us to do.
Yeah. I mean, again, very athletic. I mean, yeah. I mean, maybe you didn't get the vert you wanted, but I mean, you were able to go out there and really showcase your speed and agility, which for a guy your size, I mean, when you're able to showcase mobility, I think that's very important, and I think that you doing that really kind of helped. Obviously your stock, because I mean, I feel like your stock is just ever since the CGS, I mean, your stock just continues to, keep rising up, draft boards. Um, Really, just again, like we had mentioned before, I mean, a very good magical season in 2020 that I don't know if anyone really could have predicted. So a lot of great talent, really everywhere on that team. Not just you on that O line, but we've got a couple other great talented, guys that they're likely going to be in this draft as well. Chat through just how you guys were able to gel this past season and really have some of the best success out there on the football field.
Yeah, it was a very special year. I think as a team, just as a whole, the reason it was able to be the way that it was the fact that regardless of what happened with our schedule, like we went from 12 games to one game to a few weeks of I don't know if we're going to even be able to play. But through all of that, everybody knew that our coaching staff and our athletic staff, so like Tom Holmo and Kalani, they were doing everything in their power to give us the opportunity to have a season. There was a time where we were the only team on the West Coast that was playing. And due to their hard work and then that bleeding over into the team's culture of we're not going to just, sit back and be like, oh, yeah, doesn't look like we can play and just start relaxing. We kept preparing and we kept doing everything that we normally would do leading into a season to be great. And you see that in how we were able to execute so precisely. Our O-line were semifinalists for the Joe Moore Award. And then you look at the guys that we have that are all draft eligible and going to be playing the league over these next few years. And it's just a result of that culture we built on the team, the work that we were putting in, and the discipline that we had. Jeff Grimes and Eric Mateos were a huge help for the O-line, the offense getting us going, along with all the other coaches. I list so many different guys that have significantly helped us, but that O-line was a special group because we played together before, we knew each other well, and we had really good depth. So when injuries happen, which they always do, there's no such thing as an O-line being healthy for a full year. When they happened, we knew and had confidence in whoever was coming in, and however we were playing musical chairs and people were shuffled around. And then we knew that if we were doing our job well, we had Zach Wilson behind us, who that dude works harder than anybody else. I've never seen somebody watch so much film in my life. Like, he's constantly dissecting and investigating everything. And it shows in how he plays. And our coaches gave him power to where in games he could change protections, he could check plays out. He had whatever say he felt he needed to, whatever play he felt he needed to call, he would be able to, because he was prepared for it. And that's why he's going to do fantastic wherever he goes, but I'm pretty sure it'll be like the Jets or something.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, a very good quarterback for you guys. It's going to end up being a top pick in this draft, whether 1, 2, or 3. A lot of people are fairly confident he's going second overall to the Jets, but we'll see. We'll see how that works out. I mean, we're less than a week now away from the draft, so we'll see how that turns out. Chandon, I wanted to ask you about your most memorable moment out there on the field. I mean, having a very successful career there at BYU. What sticks out in your mind as to maybe your favorite game or play?
So one that really sticks out to me it's from 2019. It was when we played Tennessee at Tennessee. And that was a special day. Not only is it a great environment with incredible fans, their pregame playlist that they're playing was fantastic. Just everything about playing in Tennessee was awesome. But then playing against that opponent with those caliber of players and doing well, that game ended in double overtime with us scoring a touchdown. And it's actually quite funny. We had the ball on the 6-yard line. We ran like an inside power type play. And as we're running that play, we only got about a yard, maybe 2 of push with it. And Coach Grimes up in the box looked down at the call sheet to call the next play. And when he looked up to call it, we had not, like, the play hadn't been called over yet. And we ended up pushing it all the way through, and we got the 6 yards on the one play. And that was that moment of when they blew the whistle that it was a touchdown and the game was over, was like one of the most surreal, happy, and exciting moments, just because of how much emotional and physical energy had been expended on it. I just remember as soon as I realized kind of what would happen, and after we'd kind of celebrated, being the most tired I've been in so long. And it was a special day just to see that when we really band together, there's nothing we can't do, regardless of the situation. I loved it.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of a marathon of a game when you go into like more than one overtime and you're completely exhausted. And yeah, I mean, I remember being in cases like that where you're so physically drained, like you'll eat anything.
Yeah.
And so that's just kind of how that goes. Hey, let's get into who Chandon Herring is outside of football. I mean, obviously a lot of great moments out there, on the football field. But let's step off the field and kind of pick your brain a little bit as to who you are. So share with us a little bit about you outside of sports, if you don't mind. Hobbies,
Yeah.
interests, or however you want to spin it. I'm here for it.
Well, honestly, a lot of what I do right now is football related.
Right, of course.
Most of my spare time is spent film and lifting and running. But when I have the opportunity and the place to do it, I really love woodworking projects. My mom will laugh when she hears me say this, but I actually do enjoy playing the piano. And I like just being outside, going camping, going hiking. Really just anything that's not inside the house is fantastic. And that's something I guess is just from the friends that I've had, from my parents and how we were raised, of, just don't be idle, just find something to do and you'll just enjoy it. And so if you're ever looking for anything to do and you're able to, just hit me up and we'll do something.
Gotcha. So piano player, that's a little different.
Yeah, my mom wanted us all to learn.
Okay. So what are you playing on the piano? Like some classical stuff? Or are you trying to jazz it up with some like something today? Like what are you playing?
I'm not. So I have to add a disclaimer. I'm not a very good piano player. Like
okay. So it's like chopsticks.
Oh no, I'm better than chopsticks. I really I play lots of church hymns.
Sure.
Because my mom's like, oh, when you go on your mission, you're gonna want to be able to play. I'm like, okay, sure. So I play those. I was pretty decent with classical music, like Chopin and Bach and all those. One of my favorite songs to play is actually "Bring Him Home" from Les Mis, a favorite of mine. But I do need to learn how to do the whole jazz it up aspect to it, because that's something I'm not very good at yet.
That's okay. I mean, you got some time. So, I mean, obviously, very busy right now with all this football stuff going on. But I mean, whenever you got some downtime, you could, mix it up a little bit. I mean, I do know that obviously, when you go on like church missions, being able to play an instrument, it really goes a long way. So it kind of goes into like the reason why I got this guitar behind me. So I mean, it's very similar like circumstance. So, cool.
Awesome.
Again, from Arizona. What was it? Is it Gilbert? You said Gilbert, Arizona, right?
Yep, that's where the family's at now.
Gotcha. So, tell us about your hometown. Like, if I were to come to your hometown, like, what's a good spot for us to kind of hang out? Like, where do we go?
Well, if we're going hometown up to St. John's in the northeastern part, we don't have a stoplight yet, so there's not necessarily a wide variety of things to do.
Sure.
But it's still a great place. If you're there for a football game, small town football is still some of the best football you can ever watch. Just the energy and the passions going to the game is awesome. And then if you're there for the out and day, if you go out north of town, it's called Blue Hills. It's kind of these like clay blue hills. If you have like a 4-wheeler or something, just you can spend days out there and just having a ball, camping, bouldering, four-wheeling. It's a special place. And we're actually not far from a ski resort if you're there in the winter. Believe it or not, Arizona does get snow. St. John's not necessarily, but where the ski resort is, yes.
Gotcha. Well, I'd be quite honest with you, like
it's a great place with great
I
people.
don't care for the snow that much, but I don't know who crazy people like the snow, man. Like I don't get that, but
I hate being cold. I hate it.
gotcha. Hey, as we wrap up, man, I want you to just kind of give me your why as to why you play football, why you play this great game, and just kind of your motivation. So wrap that all up for us if you can.
Honestly, yeah. So football started as just small town. You did all the sports, and so it's like, all right, it's just the next sport. I can start it in 7th grade, and I did it as a game. It's fun. It's enjoyable. And then as I started getting interest in high school from college programs, I realized like, oh, like this could like pay for school. Okay, that's cool. But then it started to become this like quest of, well, how good can I actually be at this? Like if I'm being recognized now and have the opportunity to play in college, it's like, okay, well then I have something with this. How good can I end up becoming with it? And so that's kind of become my quest through it all and it's with how my parents raised us, is if you're going to do something, how good can you be at it? How great can you push yourself? And like everything is a hobby until somebody's willing to pay you for it as well. And so for lots of people, football is never really becomes more than a game that they play in high school. Very few even get a chance to go play in college. And then very few beyond that get a chance to make it a career. And so I count myself very fortunate to have that opportunity to make it to where I can make my job something that is one of the biggest passions of my life, something that I dedicated so much time for. And like I said, I can see how good or how great I can be.
Great. And very lastly, Chandon, I want you to give your pitch to all those 32 NFL teams out there. Maybe why they should draft you, sign you, and what kind of teammate you would be for their franchise if they took a chance on you.
Yeah, that's why I think this is why I think I deserve to be there. I will work harder than everybody else you got. I know everybody says that, but you have to bring me there to see. And then I have proven that I am athletic enough to compete there, and that I have the skill set to compete at any position. I will be the most versatile guy on your team. If you're traveling 8 linemen, if you have me there, you have 8.5. And so if you want to expand and get the most out of your team and have the best opportunity to win, regardless of what happens down the road, I'll be definitely the best alignment you could have on your roster for that.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, you already displayed the fact that you are very athletic, offensive lineman, which, really when you get these guys that are over 300 pounds, upwards to 6'7", I mean, people are wondering, well, can this guy move? And obviously, you were able to really showcase that, at the CGS as well as your pro day. So, hopefully, you've shown scouts that, hey, I can do whatever it is that you want me to do, whether it is, playing outside at tackle or inside at guard. I mean, and I think that you got a lot going for you. I mean, hopefully people just, maybe give you that call here in the next week or so, and give you that opportunity, because I mean, obviously you deserve it. So, Chandon, I wish you best of luck in your journey. All right.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate it.
You're welcome. Again, this is Chandon Herring. He's an offensive lineman at BYU. Definitely a great talent you got to check out.